Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to show you what it's like to look behind the Dungeon Master screen. This is really a look at what I do, or what a Dungeon Master might do right before their session or weeks before their session. Sometimes we take more time or less time. I'm dealing with a location for today. This is for the Lost Mine of Phandelver, so a Dungeon Master guide you might say this is, and we're going to break apart and work with Cragmaw Hideout. It's the first map that we are provided with in the Lost Mine of Phandelver. So we're going to take that map, and I've taken a map that has no labels on it, so it's not numbered. You can get this off the internet, it's not that difficult to do, so you shouldn't have any trouble finding it. Fortunately, I have somebody, Dear Jesus, thank you Dear Jesus, who provided me with all of the broken up segments. All the segments have been broken up into pieces, 6 of them, so that I can then print them out and then cut them out and put them together. And so that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to show you what I've got. In terms of getting hold of the files, that shouldn't actually be very difficult. I would suggest going and checking out my Facebook page. That's really where I put most of my files, and you'll find most of that sort of stuff there. Okay, let's go straight into the screen. So it's broken up into 6 pieces. Now you can't see 6 pieces because I'm going to be working here. This is thankfully been broken up into bits. I have to thank my brother Sam for printing them out. He went through a lot of hassle. This is watercolor paper, so it's quite a lot thicker. It's almost like cardboard, and I don't know if you can necessarily tell, but I have all of the different pieces and locations on here. So I've got the first entrance, then sort of after that this is where all the wolves are, and then after that, just hang on, I'll see if I can shuffle that out of the way. Okay. This here is the overbridge. The bridge is here. And then we have, I believe this is where Yimmick and the goblins are. And I've got this is the pools of water where you release the dam and it floods the location. And this is the last location, which is Clark. This is where Clark is hanging out. So this is sort of the chute that you can clamber up, the back entrance as such. So I've numbered them all, made sure, because there was a few attempts. You know, some of these look blank on one side, but honestly we had to reprint a couple of times to get it to work. It's not actually a particularly easy process. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them out. Now what I did is I numbered them, and then I used a pen, gauging when I sort of put them together, figuring out where I needed to cut. So you'll notice the black marks, those are sort of where my cut lines need to be. Some of them are really simple and easy to do, and some of them not so easy. Grab yourself a steel ruler. I've got myself a relatively sharp knife. I might wind up cutting myself, so you will have lots of fun if I start doing that. I'm going to start cutting out all the pieces. Neck, bedia. I was thinking about getting all of the maps printed out on ones. I don't know what ones is, but I suppose what you mean is getting it printed out on a much larger piece of paper or card. I mean, you can. I don't think that's an issue. Underneath, if you're wondering what's going on, this is a cutting board. So if you're wondering if I'm cutting straight into the table, certainly hope not. Certainly hope not, because that was not the plan. I have a scalpel, and when I've done this, I should be able to put all the pieces together and make it possible for one. I don't have to worry about my fog of war, because I can just lay down one section and reveal one section at a time rather than multiple sections. Does that cut through? Let's just trim that off. And I know a lot of people are concerned about that sort of thing. Hi Jackie, how's it going? That printout would have helped me in my run. I drew my maps on graph paper. Yeah, well, I did the same thing. The only reason I am cutting this out right now, to be completely frank, is I run a YouTube channel, and a lot of people ask me about the Lost Mine of Phandelver, and the people have been asking me to do a video that sort of shows the layout of Cragmaw Hideout and other locations, and sort of how they would deal with that. And I kind of I understand where they're coming from. Makes a lot of sense. You want a little bit of extra help, and so this is hopefully going to make it possible. So I am just going to cut off that side there first, I think. And I've got to be careful. My cutting mat's not hugely large. And when I was looking at this, when all the pieces were done, I was like, there is a bit of overlap. So when you're laying it out, it's going to require a little bit of planning. But that's all fine. I know of people who have drawn out this map full scale, and it's taken them a long time. Really difficult. Neck Betty, yeah, I drew this one and it looked horrible. Okay. Yeah, but so I wouldn't give yourself a hard time just because you drew it and it didn't look that great and you were hoping it would look like the map. You know, I think the fact that Wizards of the Coast is trying to make maps a lot simpler in their design. I know people think that they're being cheated when that happens, but it does put less pressure on a Dungeon Master to try to produce high quality, well-drawn maps. And not everybody can do that, right? So I wouldn't concern yourself with that quite so much. This knife has been cutting all sorts of things recently, so the card is pretty thick. I mean, that's part of the problem, right? Okay, so, and I've got some scissors. We'll just trim off this, otherwise it's going to get in the way, and we'll get lots of funny little noises going on while I'm doing this. There we go, that's out of the way. So yeah, I am keeping an eye on the chat for those of you who want to have a chat along with me while I do this. As I said, I'll be cutting and marking and doing various things, but you are welcome to ask questions and give feedback. Tell me how things went for you. Hi Brandon. Yeah, today's been alright. It's not too bad. I had somebody contact me about a job, which is all good. I don't know if I'll get the job, but it's nice to know that my applications are getting somewhere. At least, although it seemed to be the same job, and I think they asked exactly the same questions they asked the first time. So I don't know who's doing the interviewing process, but it's a little bit odd. I will just trust that there's a good reason. Okay, and now I can just make out that line, and we'll just mark that down and cut that out like so. Now if you have a specific question that you want me to not miss out on, you go #question. Okay, that is the easiest way to get me. And if you feel like you've got plenty of money, then Super Chat will definitely pop up and I'll notice that for sure. But #question's perfectly fine. Alright, so did I get that cut at the end there? Just trim that off just a little bit more. Okay. Alright, so that's the first one. So that's map 6, so we'll put that over there. We'll take this and knock this out of the way. Grab the next one. This is map 5. And I'm pretty sure when I was looking at this, I lined up and tried to figure out where I needed to cut, where I didn't need to cut. Hi Matt, how's it going? Bolton, how's it going too? How you doing? Did you say you did all this in Photoshop? No, my brother did it in Photoshop. I couldn't have ever figured it out myself. If I had tried to do it, it would have been a disaster. My brother said it was not very easy. He said it was actually quite difficult. I believe, dear Jesus, the files were created for printing onto A4, which makes a lot of sense, so it was automatically pre-programmed in. But I don't know if that will solve a lot of your problems in terms of the files. And like I said, I'll put the files on Facebook probably sometime fairly shortly. And obviously not while I'm doing this, that's not going to happen. But yeah, okay. I got my first cut in there, and I use my scissors just to trim it out there. And just get rid of that. That'll help. Just a little bit more. The land Graphable. Just ran this a couple of weeks ago. Now I'm studying the Red Brand Hideout. Awesome. Okay. I'm supposedly going to be in a position to do the map for the Red Brand Hideout as well. But I'm not going to promise anything, because the last time I went and saw my brother about this, he did not seem terribly happy. And I watched him fighting with his printer. Obviously, you could take it to a professional printer. I mean, I guess that's an option, I guess, if you've got plenty of cash floating around. Here we go. Big Kid, how's it going? I printed and taped together. Okay, by the time I got to Thunder Tree, I switched to using Google Slides and having it on a TV. I totally understand, man. Totally. It's a lot of extra work, right? That's the issue. As soon as you try to have maps that they can move around on, do you know, when I did this, I drew all of this out on a Chessex vinyl battle mat. As we went, I would just draw it out, particularly if there was a combat. Otherwise, I was drawing everything in smaller scale on a piece of paper. And I got pretty good at doing that. It took a little while, but I got there. Okay. Aaron's in the room. I can see that now. Okay. So I'm looking for hashtag questions. So far, nothing. Well, that's good. That's good news. Oh. All right. See if I can... Where's the other knife? I was cutting rubber with this the other day, and that may have made the blade a lot blunter. Otherwise, this cardboard is just really thick. It's not really cardboard, it's watercolor paper. So, okay, Fred, you've got it. Yes, yes, we do. We've got it. It's come free. It's free and easy now. Free and easy. Very nice. Awesome. You switched to using Google Slides and DIY Roll20 version. I finally brought battle mats, and that is the best. yeah, rewritable battle mats are really awesome. I find them probably the most useful. That's not to say that I didn't carry around pre-printed maps a lot, because I had a whole bunch of them, but that was a mistake, wasn't it? Considering my past. But now I have got them back again, because they reprinted the Dungeons and Dragons tactical battle maps, or tactical maps for Reincarnated. That review I did is based off an actual product, and you can use those if you want, which is awesome. But then again, it doesn't account for if you've got a predetermined adventure. You really need to be able to have the map look like the actual map in the adventure, right? So that's not so helpful. It's fine if you're creating your own stuff, or you don't actually have a map for a location in the adventure. But other than that, not quite so helpful. Did I get through? Did it go through? It almost went through. This is some hard stuff. This card's really, really tough. My brother said that this would print a lot cleaner, because it's watercolor paper, and cause him less hassle, which I thought was amazing, because considering how much trouble it gave him. But it's got a really nice surface to it. It is very smooth, and it has produced a good finish. It's just a matter of whether Fred can cut them out with making a mess or not. Okay, so this, you can see, should fit together roughly. Now, how have I got to overlay it? I've got to overlay a little bit here to make it work. Positioning there. Okay, so I probably could have cut it off roughly about there, and it would have been fine. I'm not going to worry about doing that, because it's actually going to be probably good if I can have something to connect it with underneath. So yeah, so now I have a section of the map. It sort of lines up, which is all good. So I've got to keep going, make my way through the rest of this. no name 01 da 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 da. You need a rotary cutter like what scrapbook bookers use. I don't know that I do. The scalpel would have been fine. It's just blunt. It's been used for other things and it doesn't have a new blade in it. Okay, so let's cut off over here. Aldrich Far. That's the way I did it, but I'm in a first time DM and coming from board gaming, surprised that it makes sense. But not for the lazy DM. No, lazy DM, don't do it this way. No. If you want to do it the lazy way, this is not the lazy way. This is going to take a lot of time and effort. I am doing it, as I said, because I'm probably going to reuse them. I've been told that I think somebody said that they wanted me to play out every single encounter. Well, why am I using that blade? I'm using this blade again. This is the one that's been causing me trouble. Get out of here. Come back here. There we go. All right, that's better. Okay, so we'll cut down through here. I kind of actually, the precision knife I do actually sort of regret getting. It is not quite as heavy a knife as I would prefer. I would be using my Stanley Classic because it's got a heavy blade, it cuts through pretty much anything, but it's got a blunt blade in it, and I don't think I've got any spare blades right now, so it's not going to be very helpful. No, that's not quite cut through. Let's do that again. I don't know how am I supposed to even figure out how to make this all fit on one screen at some point. There's 6 pieces to put together. It's going to be a mission, absolute mission to make that work. Glad to hear about the job inquiry. Yeah, Aaron, that's good news, eh? It hasn't equated to our job, but at least it's better than nothing. Okay, so now how do I want to do this? I think I want to go that way. Where's my steel ruler? Don't use a plastic ruler, it won't survive. Plastic rulers are for when you were playing at school. Steel rulers if people actually have to cut something hard and stiff out. There we go. And line that up. So which section am I cutting out? This is where the goblins are, Yemek is. Is that, I think that's area 6. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it is area 6. Yay! Look at that. That's good news. Okay, so we'll bring it forward a little bit. Hug it into the body. Hug it into the body. And hopefully my head's not in the way. I'm having to lean over. Now, if you're wondering why the sound isn't very good, look. If you are doing something like this and it's live, there is no way you can control the sound because my voice is bouncing off the table. Okay, did I get it? Yay! Awesome! Good news! Right, I'm going to cut that free because it's starting to get in the way now. So we're almost halfway through the process. What's that, Boltan? Well fed. If you don't find a job a job you like, I'm sure you can find something here. Yeah, right. I doubt anyone would complain about another local DM. Well, I'm in New Zealand. People don't really make money being a dungeon master in New Zealand. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't really work that way. And it sounds all good, but to be honest, I would prefer not to wind up turning this into a job if I can help it. I've done it before with other things and it didn't work out really well. Anyway, that is that section. So this is where the goblins are. So that's is that number 4? Section 4. Yep. We're on to section 3. Going backwards. So this is what had happened. We had all sorts of problems. This is the back side. This is the correct side. Made sure I had to actually number them, otherwise I'd get them confused. Yeah, I have a Facebook group. Yes, it's a Facebook group. A whole bunch of time back, I talked to everybody and I said, look, do you want a community page of some kind? And people said, yes, we do. And I said, do you want a page or do you want a group? And they decided that actually a group would be the best way. Okay, Matt, I spotted your question. Well done with the hashtag question. I don't understand why was these maps hard to print out? Well, because the reality is, Matt, is that even if you have the files and somebody else has broken up the files for you, putting them through Photoshop, blowing them up, they were sort of scaled partly, but they had to go back through Photoshop to actually get them to the right position. So if you don't have Photoshop, it's not so easy. And for whatever reason, the Epson printer just kept spitting out the card. So that's why. If you've got a really good printer and you don't have any problems with that sort of thing, that's awesome. But I had a lot of hassles, as it happens. Fatel, I'm not going to go any further. I can't figure it out. Fred, I hope you are doing well and life is getting better. Happy to see all the videos. Yep. Greetings from USA. Minnesota. MN, is that Minnesota? I'm not sure. Or is it Maines? It might be Maines. Yeah, no, thanks. I do appreciate that. So now, how am I going to do this? I'm going to go this way. Try and put the cut on the outside. You want your blade on the waist side, right? Blade on the waist side. So if you make a mistake, you can't make a mistake, really. You shouldn't be making a mistake. That's the idea. Each square is 5 foot. Yep, Pete, that's right. Each square is 5 foot. So I'm doing the bridge now. And we're cutting through. I think that's got it. Yep, that does. And we'll do it again. Make sure I keep an eye on where my marks are. I think most of the marks are pretty simple, which is excellent news. Dear. Dolphus, how's it going? No, you didn't miss the blood. I'm not bleeding yet, though. I am trying not to cut towards myself. It's half the issue, right? Half the issue. But we are on section 3 out of 6. So this will be the 2 more after this one. Right, let's get rid of this piece because this is going to get in the way. Brandon, is it me or are the maps for D&D rather cramped? Yeah, they can be. But not all of them are. You'll find that some of the maps they make are so large it's impossible to draw them. If you're playing something like Storm King's Thunder, the maps are horrifically large because you're dealing with giants. So, and drawing them out is just a pain. I know that currently is it John Paul who is dungeon mastering for me, and Simon who did Storm King's Thunder just got sick and tired of drawing maps because the areas were so large, just didn't make any sense. Aaron, question: what scale is the grid on this map? Okay, so the scale, the squares are 1 inch or 25 millimeters. So it's been printed out to the right scale to put miniatures on. That's the whole point of all of this. Otherwise, I would not bother. The idea is that I can use it to stick miniatures on, and at some point at a later date, I will do a video showing you guys the layout, where all the miniatures are, and sort of explain stuff. Do a follow-up video for Cragmaw Hideouts and break it all down, since that seems to be very popular. And is that cut through? No, it's not. There's just a little bit just hanging on there. And she's free and easy. Okay, there we go. So in terms of connecting this, let's do a quick sort of link up so you can sort of see what's going on. Now, the easiest, where's the easiest way to link this little sucker? Oh, it's going to be this end, isn't it? It's got to be this end, I'm pretty sure. This has to connect on to here, like that. Now, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So it's going to connect about there. That means that there's a small section that I'll be missing that didn't get included in the printout. So there's just this little section here that's missing, which is a little bit unfortunate because I don't have a filling section for that. And yeah, so there's just a tiny piece missing, but that's the link up for it. So did I put it on the screen or did I put it halfway off the screen? I think pretty much halfway off the screen, didn't I? So that's sort of roughly what it's going to look like. Okay. Cools. Brandon, I know a DM on Roll20 that makes at least $2,000 a month. Yeah, $2,000 a month I wouldn't be able to live on. Sounds like a lot of money, but yeah, I couldn't do it. Not even in New Zealand. Well, actually, New Zealand's actually quite expensive to live in, to be honest. Which is why I've got my veggie garden going. Okay, so here we go. So let's cut this section off. And bam, there. I'm always worried though about turning my hobbies into a job and it winding up no longer being fun too. Scott, NZ is home of the Shire. It should be a D&D mecca. Yeah, but it's not a money mecca, my friend. New Zealanders don't have a particularly high income. So being able to pay for somebody to play Dungeons and Dragons it's not really, you know, we don't have professional dungeon masters who get paid in New Zealand. That's an American thing. Okay, alright, so there are lots of people playing that just, yeah. Right, so this is going to go there. We'll cut through that section there and we're on our way. What's that, Aaron? Question. You have recently kicked your content into high gear. Is that because you starting a patron or bored? Boredom. We've got nothing else to do. The only income I've got is coming out of YouTube and the other things that I do, the patrons, and which isn't very much either, and the affiliate marketing. So really that's the reason is no other money coming anywhere. So. But I've been told that live streams all very well, but people would prefer to have a lot more edited content. So you'll see a lot more edited content showing up rather than just for live streams. And I put up a poll that I was talking about Twitch TV and YouTube and how people would respond to me using Twitch TV. And I am certainly considering very seriously restreaming services. So that means streaming on Twitch TV and YouTube at the same time. The problem is you can't do that without paying money these days. So, and that's really where it's coming from. And I don't want to have branding stuck all over the video or watermarks that sort of ruin the viewing process. So I'm trying to decide who I will use for that. So that's what's going on with that. Okay. Matt, so true. Okay. Nick Better, what's that? Have you had a go at 3D printing? No, I've told people before, 3D printing in New Zealand is not cheap. It's actually a very, very expensive process. People don't do 3D printing unless they're a professional who do this as their job, and they absolutely must do it. The filament, the plastic filament's really expensive. More expensive than just going and buying boxed miniatures in New Zealand, which I know sounds ridiculous, but it's true. Okay, so that's going to get out of the way. Stay over there. Ulrich, question. Brought the highest files from the highest files from the artist. Did all the work your brother did. Worked 100%. Want to make the files PDF 25mm scale public for the other DMs concerned about artists' copyright and ideas. Yes, don't do it. I wouldn't do it. All of that seems like a really bad idea. Yeah. And actually, that's a good point. I'm not sure that I will put this up on the Facebook group, because really, those files somebody had to put together and create, and that's his livelihood. So yeah, maybe that's not going to be the case. Maybe you just go and see Mike Shaley. Is it Mike Shaley? And you just download his images, and then you can print them out, because they'll all be set up so that you can do that. He will have figured out how to do that. He'll know that people want to do something like that. And I'm pretty sure I put the web link for his maps down in the description to this video. Okay, so this is the front entrance, and this is going to be linked up. Where's the front? Have I got the front yet? No, I'm still cutting out the front. This should be linked up here with this though. So let's just see how it fits together. Does it fit together correctly? So where am I supposed to be connecting? I'm supposed to be connecting about there. Is that it? No, 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 no. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Watch the contour, Fred. There. That looks like it. Yep. I feel like that's pretty close. That's pretty close there. There we go. And that little piece over there just needs to maneuver just a smidge. Okay, so that's what we've got in terms of a linked up map for that section. So it's looking good. It's going to be a lot of fun, I have to say. Should be very entertaining. Yeah, it's all right. No problems. Now, I'm falling behind on the chat, and I don't want it to fall behind because this is supposed to be behind the Dungeon Master screen. So I'm going to go through the chat really fast. I do still have one more of these to cut out, but we will sort of really quickly just make sure I've caught up with everybody. We've talked about 3D printing, Matt's talking about Pippin. I don't know what all that's going on. Okay, off to New Zealand. Scott, we're having a problem with maps being too large to draw out effectively when running Undermountain. Yes, that'll be the case. After we got past first level, I went to YouTube and saw some online tool sets that would do it justice. Okay, good to know, because I would like to run that adventure. I just don't know if I will be getting to do so. It always comes down to really what players want to do. Ulrich, shiny pieces makes my players enjoy the game so much more. Theatre of the Mind would develop a Nightmare of Agony, board gamers, murder hobos. Look, I use Theatre of the Mind at the right time. There's a good time to do it and there's a bad time to do it. And with players who do not like Theatre of the Mind, bad time to do it. With a simple encounter where the chances are they're just going to butcher everything anyway, who cares? I wouldn't even put it out. I know players don't like me doing it, but I still have the miniatures and maps there just in case. But I will do Theatre of the Mind when it makes sense. Diata, yeah, edited content, that's great. Yeah, it's fine, but you'll find that the edited content for my channel, it can take anywhere from a week to 6 or 8 months to see a video if I do edited content. Just because, I don't know, a lot of people don't understand this, how long it takes to actually process it and go through it. And that is taking shortcuts. I take a lot of shortcuts nowadays. Shortcuts that a lot of other people don't do. There's a reason why the big channels do maybe 1 or 2 videos, usually 1 video per week. It's just sheer amount of work. And the reason I do so much live streaming is because it's easier. You'll find that Dawnforge Cast is live streaming, and then he cuts his live streams down. It's a smart move. I used to do that, and then I found out that YouTube would occasionally botch it up, and so I would have issues. It's good when YouTube captures the the video because they process it faster than I can. But there are drawbacks, particularly if their system goes haywire, and I've had a few occasions when that's happened. So I have another process, which is a 2 video process. So you get the live stream as is captured by YouTube, and then when I get time, I do an edited version, and then I release the edited version. Right now, the edited versions are going straight to the patrons, and they see them well before you guys do, and then they will get released to the general public later on. But I have been told that I should either take down or unlist the live streams once the edited version's gone up. And we'll see how that works. Okay. Alright, we're doing alright for time, so that's good news. Aaron, I like watching the live streams, but can only watch them at work and twice as banned. Yeah, well, that totally makes sense. So I won't see your live streams anymore, but I'm one person, so do what's best for your channel. Yeah, it's cool. I don't expect you to re-watch stuff that's already gone up. That would be ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's just that some people prefer to be able to interact with me, and some people can't, and or aren't really worried about that sort of thing. They just want to watch the video, and that's it. Okay. Back to our map cutting. We're almost done. This is the last one. Oh, I think I might have moved the camera just a fraction with that one. It went straight into the tripod and it went boop. And you might have seen like a little bit of a vibration take place. Okay. Moving on. Last little bit. This is the last piece to cut off. Isn't that good news? How long has it taken me? About 40, well, roughly 40. I've been talking as well. I've been talking with you guys. So maybe 40 minutes to cut all the bits out. To be fair, this is hard. This is hard paper. This is tough. Tough to get through. Anyway, last of the cuts. Oh, that was difficult. That was difficult. I have pieces everywhere. Everywhere. Okay, so let's link it up and see what the front entrance looks like in comparison. There's no way I can link all of them up right now because I'd have to change my camera view. But let's have a look and see what it looks like in the front section. So this is the front entrance. And I think I'm going to have to overlay it that way. Let's overlay it this way. Okay, so where is it going to link up? I feel like that's about there. About there. So there is roughly what it looks in the front. Yeah, it's not too bad. Just make sure use the squares, Fred. You line the squares up and you should be fine, right? Lines and squares, lines and squares. Now, why is that? I feel like that's slightly out of alignment just there. Now, there'll be a reason for that. And the reason, I don't know. Maybe it's just slightly out of alignment when it was printed. Let's just flip it over. I'll put it on the other side instead. If I can find a matching feature about there and see if it'll line up. This piece is actually more difficult to line up than the other ones. I didn't expect that to happen. I thought that would be not an issue, but apparently getting it to just line up exactly. Okay, so there, angle that a little bit. Angle. Oh, maybe it's the angle. If I change the angle, will that help? Yeah, so this piece doesn't quite match up as well as the rest of them. It's going to be slightly out compared to the rest. That is sort of behind the scenes. Yes, you will eventually see me using these maps in future videos, so don't think or despair that won't happen, because it most certainly will happen. I have plenty of videos if you're interested on the Lost Mine of Phandelver, and I have videos for dungeon masters and players, so you're welcome to help yourself to those if you're really interested. I also have a Patreon page, so you can support me so I keep doing stuff like this, and would appreciate that. I have affiliate links to the book depository and Amazon, where you can go and buy stuff online and I get a small commission. Make sure to share, like and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, hit the bell button to be notified when I go live, and I go live a lot, and when I edit new videos, and that does happen as well. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.